5 p.m. here in California. Here, Heitor, você já deve estar aí. Everybody, this is Kátia Moraes, Brazilian Heart Life. I'm here every Monday through Friday. Ah, você tá aí, viu? Eu vou te convidar já, peraí. Hoje é... Today is Wednesday, June 3rd. Oh, hi, Délia. Oi, tô sabendo que você tá aí. I just explaining to everybody, I'm here Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. here in California, 21 horas no Rio de Janeiro. Hoje a gente tem, today we have a beautiful guy that I love to death. And we're gonna be having a bate-papo. E a Délia Fischer, singer-songwriter from Rio de Janeiro, she's already online. And let me invite Heitor, so we can... Heitor, querido. Tadam, tadam. We did a test the other day, so let's see if it works. I think it's gonna be Heitor's first live. So,
Wow, that easy.
Viu? Funcionou.
Great. Okay, Kátia.
It's beautiful. You put the picture there, the painting.
Well, it's the only good place where I can say.
That has, light on your face.
Yeah, let me see one thing here. Do I have a better? Okay, now I can hear you better. Good.
It looks great, man. It's working.
I miss you. All my friends. I miss everybody. I miss you, my friends. It's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
We want to hug people, right? Touch people.
Yep.
There is lots of people here that love you. And they say, oh, man, he's going to be in today. Great. One is Sandro Rebel, piano player.
Sure, I love Sandro.
He's saying, hey, buddy.
Sandro, grande músico.
Yeah,
great musician. So we are doing this in English.
We are. We're going to do it in English. Because we can.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
Because we can.
So, Sandro, good to see you.
Yeah. I'm going to start this bate-papo reading something for you.
Wow.
Were you born in Rio Grande do Sul?
Yes, I was.
Aha. So I was looking at this, and I love Luiz Veríssimo, né? Luiz Fernando Veríssimo. Then I found essa frase, this quote by him that I think it has so much good sense of humor. So he says, sonho é comer churrasco preparado por gaúchos numa praia do Nordeste, com mulheres mineiras, organizado por paulistas e animado por cariocas.
Poxa vida, hein? Esse churrasco, pô, eu quero ser convidado. Muito embora, sendo gaúcho da parada, muitas vezes o que acontece, eu sou o cara que tá ali no quente, preparando o churrasco, porque eu sou gaúcho, sabe aquela coisa do... Tá combinado assim, então?
Exactly.
Aí vai todo mundo lá, conversa pra caramba, aí no final do churrasco, a minha esposa, a Helena, chega e fala tudo que aconteceu na festa, e eu fiquei lá, trabalhando pra caramba, porque eu sou o gaúcho.
Exactly. Let's switch back to English then, because I know
sure.
I read the quote in Portuguese. I'm sorry about that, everybody, but it is a sense of humor by a writer from the same state that Heitor is from. Right. And it's, I have to start with that so we can have a laugh, because we need a laugh right now. The whole world needs a laugh.
Yep.
Oi, Cida. Oi, Susan. There is a bunch of people coming in. Oi, Heitor. Fábio 3. Olha o Heitor ao vivo. Show.
Oi, Fábio. Fica lá, gente. So, Kátia was saying, like, the good recipe, for a great party, and one of the recipes is always invite a gaucho, a person that comes from the place where I come from in Brazil, to prepare the barbecue. And I told her that in my whole life, I've been the one who actually cooks it, prepares the barbecue, but doesn't get to hang with the people, because everybody's having lots of fun, and me, the gaucho, and it's like, hot.
It stays there, exactly, beside the grill the whole time.
Exactly. But so good.
That's the problem to be a host sometimes, that's it.
No, I tell you one thing. That's another um, reason that through this whole COVID and now what we are going through, uh, just to reinforce to ourselves the importance of being social, right? The lockdown and the physical distancing, social distancing, that was a wrong term, unfortunately, to start with. We still needed to be social. Physical distancing, I think, would have been, let's say, more straight to the point, you know. But anyway,
Anyway.
here we are.
Okay,
So great.
so
Let's make
we know each other for a
a
little
good
bit,
trust.
but not a lot. And so I want to get the opportunity to, since we have this Brazilian heart live, to talk about the heart. And so
Uh-huh.
I want to start asking you to describe, to introduce yourself, but in a poetic way.
In a poetic way.
Yes.
Ah,
Short.
well, uh, I think, um, for example, I like birds, you know, and I think a poem sometimes, you know, it takes a little while for you to understand what it really meant to you. Sometimes you go years reading something and interpreting in a certain way, only very much later on to discover that that thing was actually telling you something else. So to me, I think the clearest way of being poetic for me about life, it's being in touch with nature, So then I think uh, at an early age, I was introduced to the beauty of observing, birds and listening to their songs and, learning more about their interactions, and I think that's how I became a musician. So that's the poem of my life. It's like it has always been in a way when things are really tough, um, and not even words from the people that love me the most sometimes don't complete, the
Yeah.
emptiness. I always go to nature because there is something that in the poetry of it all, it kind of heals me, and so that's to me what's poetic about the gift of being in this planet, you know. Um,
Well
yeah,
said, man.
it's I thank God I live by that, and I'm reminded every day by that, by those little phrases, those little lines that make this long poem. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the beginning of beginning. Before you were on this earth, there were there were two people that got together. They're your parents. So I
Yes.
want to know about your parents, where they came from, and how they met.
Um, well, they have all. We are all from this town in Rio Grande do Sul called Rio Grande, right? And my parents come from there as well. Um, how they met? Maybe in a carnival.
You don't know?
No, I don't. I don't. Uh, I think we probably talked about it at some point, and my bad son vibe. I don't remember how they met, but
What they used to do. Tell me
well,
about
I tell you one thing. My mother comes from a very very big family, so I bet she was introduced to my father by one of her older like sister or
it.
brothers.
Uh,
Kind of vibe. I imagine it's a small city, so how you meet? You just turn around in this in the little square no coreto da cidade. You know what
uh-huh.
I mean? The little square, and you meet up. You
And you,
know, let me tell you something about Rio Grande. Another way of meeting people. I remember when I was very young, child really, in Rio Grande. And then I came back many summers to visit my cousins and all my aunties, uncles. And the practice was around 5 o'clock, summertime. Everybody put their chairs outside on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
right? And there is this parading, promenading of people back and forth and saying hi. And so I guess they probably could have met also that way.
That way.
So I think that's a beautiful thing.
And your dad, what he used to do, your mom and your dad, did they have a career, or your mom was a teacher, or just?
Well, I think as soon as she had me and my sister.
No, before that, come on.
Well, she worked on. I think she helped my grandfather. My grandfather was a mason, so I know that she helped him on his office with his, errands and stuff to do.
Your mom had a lot of sisters and brothers?
Yeah, at first, like 14.
Wow.
Yeah. My father is from a smaller family, which is like 5 or 6. So my mother, that's what she did at first. And she worked at the jockey too, horse races, when my grandfather also worked there. And my father worked helping my grandfather, building stuff. And then he joined a oil company called Ipiranga, in the south of Brazil. And from there, things, developed and everything. But I think that's where that's what they were doing, more or less, when me and my sister came about.
So they met there in that city,
Rio Grande,
right? Rio Grande.
Yeah,
and
Rio
then
Grande.
when they got married, did they go to Porto Alegre, or they stayed there?
No, they stayed there for a little while. I think I was until like 4, maybe.
How
and
many
then
kids they had?
Just myself and my sister,
2.
Sylvia. Right, and then I think we all moved to Porto Alegre. But then my father worked traveling a lot too. His kind of
Caixeiro viajante.
Yeah, pretty much, and after a while we start following him. But many times, for example, we were still. I think we moved to São Paulo. Oh, coincidentally, Ipiranga. We lived in Ipiranga and then Brooklyn. You see, you're gonna help me discover some things about myself.
I know.
So there was that. So we lived in São Paulo. We lived in Vitória, Espírito Santo.
Really?
Yeah, and
that's
then
where my father's from.
Oh, it's amazing. And then we lived in Niterói, in Rio de Janeiro, and then we went back to Espírito Santo. Now my parents live in Vitória, the capital.
Oh, they do.
My sister is there, and from time to time I visit them, and I wish I could go much more often, but
wow,
that's how we moved around in Brazil.
Okay, so
they
until
lived
4.
Also in 1 second, so I don't get slapped when this thing is over. So they lived also in Recife, which was pretty amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
So until 4, Rio Grande.
Rio Grande, yeah, more or less.
So what's
give and take, okay? Give and take.
Give and take, exactly. So what's the first memory of music for you?
Oh, easy.
Those 4 years.
Yeah. My first memory of music, a lot of my mother's brothers, they're musicians, and they had like a top 40s band, like baile, music. So they played in parties, and then they played in restaurants.
But you were 4 years old. Until 4 you were there. So did you go to those parties?
Yeah, because at some point we moved to Porto Alegre. I think at more or less around that young age, and we lived with my grandmother, and they rehearsed, in the bedroom where me, my mother, and my sister slept. I think so, more or less that. I'm my worst autobiographer, right? So the worst biographer. I think I am the one. But but I think that's
Memory.
how music came about. My mother used to sing a lot.
Aha! What did she like to sing then when you came?
Well, coming from the south, we had for sure Lupicínio Rodrigues, kind of samba canção.
Yeah. Oh, my heart.
Yeah, music prior to bossa nova. They sung. My grandfather whistled a lot, so he whistled like all sorts of like Francisco Petronio and lots of the material, the music that was there before bossa nova.
Do you remember having a radio at home?
Radio at home. Not early on. Not early on.
Just after Porto Alegre, no?
Yeah, but Katya, I bet there was a radio, but we were very simple.
I got it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, down to the minimum. But I bet there was a radio around, But to me, I remember at a very early age, them playing and being happy about that and exuding that and just like wow, like that. I fell in love with that.
That expression of happiness and joy.
Yeah, that lifestyle maybe, I remember then later on when I was a little older, and then I would come back, as I said, to be with my grandmother and my uncles would arrive late, and she would cook like eggs and rice for them at 3 a.m. And sometimes she would wake me up, because I was spending the summer with them. And I was fascinated by that,
There is life after midnight.
Big time. I learned that very early.
What's your favorite food from Rio Grande do Sul that you remember when you're a kid?
Look, I like eles têm o que chamam de compotas, they call compotas, right? It's like pear but peach that you put in a jar, and then
it's like a jam.
I like a jam.
For them, yeah.
So I like that. I like arroz carreteiro. I love that. Obviously churrasco, but also my grandmother. She prepared, things, and one of them was a kind of like a thick, like a pizza bread, but with tuna on top, and she, yeah, it was amazing. The house smelled with that, and yeah, that was very poetic too.
I like it. I like.
So my favorite food from there, I think it's that, You know what they have too? Arroz doce, sweet rice.
Ooh, I love arroz doce.
With cinnamon and yeah, man. So I mean, you get me going, my friend. We're gonna be here for days.
So when you go to Rio Grande do Sul, what do you want to have? You have to have.
Well, there is another thing we call, it's like a hamburger, and we call bauru. Bauru is it's basically a hamburger, but the meat is unbelievable. It's hard to describe, because if I try to describe, I'm gonna start crying now because I need one badly. But
what kind of meat is that?
I think it can be beef, but it can be pork too. And I bet nowadays, you can have everything. You know what I mean? It's like bauru.
But when you were a kid, was that barbecued?
No, it's something that you go to a place and it's like you order, and
it's like cold cuts.
No, not cold cuts. It's warm. It's beautiful. Oh my God, catch! He's playing a major chord right now. So that's one of the things that I if I could go back now, and they said, "Hey, would you like to order something?" And I was, "Yeah, I want to be transported to some of my great times in Rio Grande do Sul, especially Rio Grande in Porto Alegre, and that would be Bauru in Rio Grande and the barbecue, the churrasco.
What do you drink with the Bauru?
Uh, probably at the time,
Coca-Cola?
grapete.
Grapete!
That's how old I am, my friend.
I know. It's,
Yep.
it's so good, grapete.
Yeah, grapete,
Eu gostava
or
de Guaraná.
Fanta,
Grapete, né?
or Fanta, or
Fã.
Coca-Cola. Yeah. Oh, I tell you one thing. We have a drink in the south called charrua, minuano.
What is
Sabe,
that?
charrua? It's like a fizzy drink. Oh, it's amazing.
Charrua.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fizzy drink. If there is any gaucho right now, please educate
Speak.
me,
Speak out.
remind me what it is. Uh, yeah. So
Never
that
heard.
is the equivalent of, like, let's say in Niterói we had mineirinho made of
Yeah.
us, right? So, and that, when you think of Niterói, you think of mineirinho.
Yeah.
When you are in Dublin, you think of a good Guinness. In Rio Grande do Sul, I remember there was this drink that
This
was pretty
fish.
cool. So that goes well with the Bauru.
Exactly. So when you went to Porto Alegre,
Yeah.
then you went to school not for the first time. You were continuing your studies in Porto Alegre, right? You had started already or not?
I never went to school.
You never. God.
No, I did. No, I don't remember. Quite frankly, I think it's cool. I only remember when we moved to Victoria.
I
Maybe I
see.
was 7, 8, or something like that.
Okay.
I
So
know that
3
I went
years
to
in
some
Porto
school.
Alegre.
Yeah, I
You
know.
jumped a lot. Yeah, your family
Yeah,
jumped.
I remember going to some sort of like a jardim de infância,
Yeah.
like how we call it?
Uh,
Kindergarten.
okay.
I remember going to some sort of kindergarten, but yeah, I
Not
don't.
much.
But I do remember vividly the school period in my life after we've moved to
Espírito Santo.
Victoria. Yeah.
Vitória. How long did you stay in Vitória?
Many years, and we lived there twice. I think when I was.
But later on.
Yeah, maybe from 9 until 13, and then we moved to Niterói. We stayed there a couple of years, and then we went back to Vitória, and then back to Niterói, or the other way around. I'm sorry, Kasia, I told you.
No, it's fine. We're gonna go calmly.
Yeah, well,
So I just have to
I
say.
know one thing. Those are, and obviously, Rio Grande do Sul is in my heart because a lot of people that I love and from my family are there. But that's a given, right?
Do you still have a lot of cousins and
Big time.
uncles? Yeah, your
Yeah,
uncles
all
and
over. In Porto Alegre, Rio Grande, in São Paulo.
any musicians?
Yeah. One of my uncles called Tio César. Tio César still plays, professionally.
What
His
does he
son,
play?
Gugu plays too. He plays keyboard, and he can make, a party out of nothing. It's one of those. That's what I said. Him and my other uncles, Tio Renato, Tio Roberto, and Zezinho, all of them, they had this love for music, and that was very contagious, and that stayed with me. And they, some of them now do more as a hobby, but they still do it. Tio César still works as a musician professionally. His son does too, and that's how it goes.
It's so sweet. So you went to Vitória, and of course you have a very nice period of your time there, teenager especially. Life was blooming in Vitória. So, do you remember your school? Do you remember having like maybe a favorite teacher, someone that, I like this?
I think so. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I tell you one thing. Um,
Tell me
yes, I
too.
remember the beautiful thing about a place. That's one of the things. I want to make sure that I don't lose the line of thought here. But one of the beautiful things about being from a place and being there your whole life is that in the people that are around you every day, you see time. You know, when you live those places and you come back later on, principally as you can tell, with my memory and my kind of lack of like attention to my past as much as I should have, then it's a little bit defragmented.
Yeah.
Not that I love less.
Yeah.
It's just because I don't know. I don't have that as a trait of my personality. but but what I want to say by that is that what I love when I get back to Vitoria sometimes is that I still get to see some of these people, that were very young. We were all very young, you know, um, and they are my brothers and sisters, big time, you know. I love the Capixaba, people from the Espírito Santo, really special people. I love them, but I also love the people from Niterói, So those are two places that are like in my heart, you know.
What What do you think brings you to some memories? Is the sound, is the smell, or is the sight?
Well, I must say, from the beginning, back to the Church of Nature, I think that's where, I'm the devotee big time. So when I go to Niterói and I look at those beautiful beaches and I hear some of the birds live there, and the same thing in Vitoria, I think that's one of the things that you know
Brings you
transports me
back the
to,
memories?
yeah, puts me like in memory lane kind of thing, but also um, um,
There goes the line
well,
of thought.
no. It's because somebody just appeared and I had to address something here. Um, I think another thing, maybe obviously, like not maybe, what certainly brings me the best memories, obviously, are the people. You know, I've been blessed in many different ways in this life. You know, and one of my living blessings that I can touch, are my friends. I never feel alone, when I think of them, because I know that they are thinking of me. If I am successful on something, I know that they are there celebrating with me, even though I'm receiving something, an award that may not mean anything, because I don't live for
Material
those
life.
things. Yeah, I don't live for those things. But to me, it's like, it's to me acknowledging that the only reason I'm here is because people help me in create this path. You know, I'm not super successful, but I am successful in the sense that I'm very happy where I am right now.
Yeah.
And people, now going back to Vitória, Niterói, and my family in the south, in São Paulo, they all, there was always so much love, and then when they realized that music was going to be something that was like undeniable in my life, they always supported it so amazingly, that then my life as my musician's life, my career, it wouldn't have been the career that it has turned to be into, if it wasn't for this amazing
Support.
support and inspiration. And yeah, it's amazing. It's
So
amazing.
starting at home, your dad and your mom, music, go for it.
Yeah,
No doubts.
with them, parents are different, right? To a degree. I just needed to prove to them, with the help of friends, must be said,
Yeah.
that I was serious about it. That wasn't going to be just like, let's say, even though there was like a bohemian aspect to it,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
fascinated me too.
They're afraid if you're not gonna make money, that kind of thing.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. But when they saw that there was no way, you know, it wasn't even like a fight, you know, it was just like, let's do it. And then they've supported me and helped me. You know, obviously my father gave me my first guitar.
We're gonna
And
get that. We're gonna get that.
yeah, all that kind of stuff.
So
You
you
know,
go to
so
school. You get to Victoria, you go to school.
I
You
haven't
work.
been alone as a musician. I haven't been alone as a musician since the day I noticed that this was going to be my life. You
That's
know,
a
and
great feeling.
to me, that's a blessing.
Yes. Yes, it is, because we know there's a lot of people in this world that never finds what they came to do in this world.
Or, or, you know, they have to fight every day, you know, to eventually be able to give as much time as possible of themselves to that they love so much.
What passion.
And that's why, to me, opportunity and education, you know, it's where kind of I see myself going, you know, more and more. Um, I don't want to take this conversation in
No, I
different,
want.
but that's how it
I'm gonna
happens,
cut you. I'm
you
gonna
know.
cut you.
But I think
Definitely.
that's where it's
That
at.
that's since you're talking about that, that's why I wanted to go to school and talk about that to see what called of it. I'm sorry. So what called your attention at school that was artistic, that inspired you? It could have been a teacher
Definitely.
or not.
Yeah. No, I think, you know, it was lately it's instrumental music, right? Orchestral music, and because of the movies and everything. But at first was songs, was the songs and the messages and
And where were you
and
listening to the songs? That's what I'm asking. Where
as a
did you?
group. Well, people at school, you
Okay,
know, I was part of a choir for some time, you know,
okay.
so I've learned, let's say, a bit of like, you know, traditional Brazilian music that people adapted for choir. Um, and then I met friends in Vitoria, you know, Sergio Benevenuto and many others, you know, Rogerinho, they all know, if they, Escovão, these are all people that just kept making that thing like more and more strong, you know, inside myself.
And they were playing.
They were playing, and I saw them playing too, and I felt like, man, I wanna join this, you know.
Guys.
I was, you know, like in Niterói, you know, I still lived with my parents, and I was in an elevator, and a girl that lived in the same building said to me, I heard that you are a musician, and my boyfriend is a musician. She says, do you work as a musician? I said, no, I just study. I wish I could make some money one day with that. He says, well, I should introduce you to my friend. I think I was maybe 15, and that was Arthur Maia.
Ah!
And so the story of my life, you
Yeah.
know,
But go back,
and
go
all this.
back
One
to
second, let me
Victoria
say one second. Let me just
before
say
you
one
went to
thing.
Rio.
The story of my life, in a way, being introduced to music and who I heard music from first, you know, quite frankly, it came from people because I didn't have the money to buy records, you know. I didn't even know about those records.
So you saw
But
them play
now,
live.
yeah, or I've heard people playing, you know. I think Artur showed me Weather Report, you know, for the first time. You know, Sergio Benevenuto showed me Stravinsky, and maybe and Acabou Chorare, you know, Novos Baianos, and yeah, and each one of them. For example, Rogerinho introduced me, I think, to some of the classical, you know, like Gil Armando Reis, and that kind of vibe.
Uh-huh.
So,
So you said your father is the first one that gave you a violon. Did you
yes.
ask for, or he sensed and gave to you?
No, I bugged him like crazy. and he gave me, and yeah, and then that was it. Yeah. I stopped playing.
Do you remember the violon que tipo de violon
Giannini,
do you
come
remember
on,
which
Giannini.
kind? A Giannini.
A Giannini, and it was red and black.
Red. You
Even
don't have
though,
it. Do you
even
still
though
have
I
it?
was Fluminense,
Yeah.
a flamenguista. I started playing a flamenguista guitar and being,
Exactly.
a Fluminense supporter. But no, that's my first instrument.
So you probably Benevenuto?
Sergio, yes.
So Sergio probably saw you playing and started like introducing you to this record here, this record there.
Yeah, somebody introduced me to Sergio. I don't know whom, but Sergio, yes, somebody introduced me to Sergio, and Sergio, even then, Relating Life became like, has always been a great musician, but also became a great teacher, not only for myself, but for many others. So, I think he must have seen and felt like my energy towards like, I love this stuff, huh? But I know nothing. And it probably was very clear to him. So it was beautiful because then he introduced me to music that I had never heard before. As I told you, I knew of Lupicínio, I knew of obviously Antonio Carlos Jobim, I knew of Brazilian music because of my uncles and my family, and obviously I knew of Beatles because they played Beatles, they played Rolling Stones in their top 40 bands. But Sergio introduced me to John Coltrane, introduced me to Peter Hamill, introduced me to
Sophistication.
yeah, sophistication, but also like maybe Nelson Cavaquinho, just because the guy played right, like totally. I love that style because like Brazilian blues man kind of thing. Right?
Yeah.
Bah.
Yeah.
So he was, and he is still. He knows that very important in my life for all the great reasons.
Okay.
But I had many other friends.
All right.
That introduced me new music.
Okay, back. Your father gave you the Giannini, and you were playing by yourself with no lesson or anything, just getting things by ear?
Yeah.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
So when was that you start like having a little lesson here and there? Who was your teacher?
Well, first, when I had to prove to my parents that this wasn't just like, like a fad, it was like for real. So then I had to get like, oh shit, man, this is serious. Exactly. So I found a guitar teacher. Man, I don't want to mess this up. In Vitória, for sure, was Sergio. And then in Niterói, with my other great friend, Cessé, we studied harmony and orchestration, instrumentation with one lady, and I graduated in music initiation, so to speak.
It's all private lessons, or you went
private lessons? Private lessons. Yeah, but connected to a school in Niterói that I ended up getting a diploma. And then I went to the Villa Lobos Conservatory. That's much later.
That much later.
But I did study. For example, my friend Rogerinho introduced me to Elias, his uncle. Sorry, Rogerinho, I forgot the name. Ai, cara, como é que é o nome dele? Eu sei que é Elias. O primeiro nome dele, uma pessoa que eu adoro tanto, esqueci o nome. Anyway, he played and plays guitar amazingly. So I learned a lot about the guitar and the Brazilian guitar from him. Too. That's in Vitória. Also, I learned a lot about music and a little bit of jazz with man, I forgot his name now. Chico, I forgot his name. Okay. I love you, Chico, but I forgot your second name. But you see, I'm getting old, my mom.
Oh yeah,
And,
I tell.
you know, I will remember. That's how I am. Give me
Ginkgo
5 minutes when we are talking about like, oranges. I will remember, Chico's second name. But
Exactly.
anyway, so then that was it. In every place, there was somebody
Yeah.
that maybe saw my passion
Uh-huh.
and said, "Hey man, if you like this, the swimming pool is deeper. Jump on that side, and I hold you." So a lot of people taught me not how to drown. Just to go and go for
Yeah.
it. So it's
Did you
beautiful.
were you a part of a band while you were still in Espírito Santo or just when you went to Niterói?
I was kind of part of a band with Sergio. We played a couple gigs, and then with Rogerinho and Escovão, I played also a couple little things here and there.
And what kind of repertoire you guys were playing then?
We played our own arrangements of like, uh, Brazilian music and a couple of Beatles, and then a couple of our own songs.
Can you
With
play something?
Rogerinho.
Can you play something right now from that
No,
time?
no, I don't remember. But with
Well, what kind of
Rogerinho, I wrote a
what
lot of songs.
which song of the Beatles, for example, you guys played at that time?
I remember for sure "Come
Come
Together."
on, get the
And
guitar and play, man.
no. I want to talk more about these people, not about myself who play the guitar. You are
Okay,
giving me an
good.
opportunity, hopefully one day for all of them to see it.
I like it.
And you know what I mean? And it's like,
Yes.
to me, it's like, generally when I do this, it's an opportunity to say thank you to so many people.
Yes, it is.
So
So,
so then, yeah, so I had a band there, but I think my first professional band was me and Arthur.
Arthur,
And we played a gig with Paulinho Briga on drums, and then
Paulinho
Claudinho
Briga,
Infante. Yeah,
Briga.
yeah, and then Claudinho Infante, and we made a band called Pulsar, which marked my life forever because I love Claudinho and Arthur, and they're such amazing musicians and taught me so much. So I think that was one of the first bands. But Arthur introduced me to my first gig, which was Ivan Lins.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay,
Arthur
okay.
Maia, yeah,
Tell me one thing at least that you
my
learned with
angel.
Arthur. That you
Uh,
learned with Arthur.
One thing that I learned with Arthur,
Just one of so
oh
many.
man, that's so unfair.
I know.
Because somebody full of life like this,
It's
if
like
you
the
open
first
your
thing that comes
eyes,
to your mind.
happiness,
That's it.
happiness. Arthur had this gift of even when things were really tough, what he showed to us outside was like, oh my God, I want to be beside this guy because life is always so up and happy, you know. And then when we became very close friends and we could share also our unhappinesses and stuff like that, I discovered this other side of Arthur, which made me respect even more, this kind of, even not like choice, that's just because he was like this. That was one of his gifts. It was just a positive guy and with so much to give. And yeah, and joy. So I think that's my first lesson with Arthur. Joy.
Unbelievable. So great. So after how long you were playing with these guys, that this opportunity to play with Ivan came about?
Oh, well, Vitória then went. Then I came to Niterói. As I said, many years. First time I didn't meet Arthur because it was too early. Then second time around, maybe I was 15, around there. That's when I met Arthur, 16.
Okay.
Right. And then he introduced me to Ivan. The crazy thing is, he said, I want to introduce you to Ivan, and there was a session that I was supposed to come and play. Well, turns out, first of all, I didn't have an electric guitar, and so I borrowed the guitar from Sergio, and then the recording went horribly wrong, because the arranger, who is also Gilson Peranzetta, who I love and I've learned so much from, he wrote the chords in a way that wasn't maybe like the Berkeley way that we know, and it just like, oh my God, what is all those hieroglyphs? You see,
higher
whatever.
Egyptian
Yes,
vocabulary.
Yeah. Sorry, but anyway, but I had jammed a little bit with Ivan before the Peranzetta, nasty, before the session started, and then all this failure. I thought that was the beginning and end of my career, and a couple of weeks later, I got a call from Ivan saying like, "Hey man, I'm putting a band together." And I really liked the jam when we had the jam before the session, and I would like to know if you wanted to come by and try and join it. And Artur was part of the band, and it was one of the best times of my life.
Man, but I still think that I'm missing something.
Because... Oh, definitely, because you are missing, because I'm missing. But I told you, I warned you. I'm really bad with that stuff, my friend.
Before he tells you about Ivan, there is like a time that probably you're playing with another band somewhere, going around and getting your guitar together, so.
I studied 3 years with a teacher in a conservatory in Rio de Janeiro.
Do you remember the teacher name?
I forgot his name now. He was great.
Okay.
I studied Emilio Pujol method, which then later I realized it's good for some, but it wasn't for me.
Okay.
But in respect of his process, I stayed loyal for 3 years. That's fine. Now I get it a little more, because I'm writing more orchestral stuff, and all that foundation of the classical guitar, it helps me a lot in writing orchestral music. Yeah. So that was great. But then I got introduced to João da Silva Damasceno, another great guitar teacher, and Laranjeiras, I think, and he was amazing, and he opened up,
another universe.
Yeah, for the first time, I think I played Leo Brouwer, I played some stuff of Villa Lobos that I didn't know, and many other pieces, and so it's kind of all a blur.
It's like a lot of studying. The way you're speaking to me, it's like there is a lot of studying, going here and there, studying. But the practicality of it, that's what I'm missing about going out and doing a gig. Live performance.
Yeah, look. You see, yes, Ivan was maybe my first professional gig, but we didn't gig all the time. So then I had time to play with Alaide Costa, with for sure with Antonio Adolfo, which was amazing. You see all the teachers,
This was after Antonio Adolfo did his independent record?
Around that time.
Okay.
I passed a little bit that time, because he was a precursor of that whole independent, make your own. Oh yeah, totally. So so I played with them. I played with many, Ronaldo Rezedar. At some point with Angela Rorô, with Paulinho Boca, with Paulinho Boca de Cantor, with so many people,
Artur was always the bass player together with
No. Artur was too famous. He was already Artur and the bass. Artur didn't. I needed to practice to demonstrate my musicality. My musicality needed to wait a little bit until my my dexterity as a musician wasn't good enough to let my ideas go. Anything that came to my mind, I could play. I had
This
to work. I
this
had to
is
work
self
hard. For this.
this is a self-criticism, or you
No, no, it's not criticism. I'm actually saying like, "Woo, I made it," but because that's what it is. It takes hard work. But some people, they have this natural, you know, and Artur was like that. You know, anybody that's there right now, you know, Artur could stop playing for a month, and he grabs the bass, and just beauty comes out. If I don't play for a day, and I grab my guitar right now, a lot of crap will come because you know there is this thing, you know, it became more natural with time, you know, principally when I started freeing myself from the from
when was the first time, the first memory that you have that you felt like, okay, I can do this and I feel good now?
with Claudinho Infante and Artur themselves, because they supported my writing. That's when that came into my life strongly. They said, "Hey man, you know, people like when we play your pieces, you know." So then, yeah, Federico, big time. So then,
You feel comfortable playing your stuff, yeah.
yeah, and also to have great musicians to execute
Back
the
you up.
ideas and add to it, you know. I have a friend that always tells me, "Hey man, you don't want to be the best one in the band. You want to be the worst one in the band, because then you can learn from everybody else." And I think that's a big time true, you know. And with Claudinho and Artur, I was definitely like, let's say maybe the weak link at first, but they supported me so much that we became.
Were you the younger too or not?
Don't think so.
No, okay.
No. I think we're kind of the same age.
Same age.
Yeah. I confused you.
No, you're not confused. It's because I'm drinking, you know.
Water. I have kidney stones.
Tea.
So then I have to drink water like this is my remedy, you know. So I wake up
Drinking water.
and I go to bed, drink water, and I wake up in the middle of the night to drink water.
Oh yeah.
Because otherwise the next morning I suffer. You know? Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. That's one of the things. I'm gonna go on a tangent here. You know, kidney stones. They help me to because they come and go, and the pain is horrific, but they go. You see, and then, oi Satnam, que pasa, my brother? What happens is like it reminds you of all the good times you had just a minute ago, and you're not having them right now. You know, so to me, I think this illness, sort of speak, came as a blessing because you know what I mean. It's like from time to time, if I get too kind of comfortable with myself,
Yeah.
you know, boom, you know, I get reminded by one of those little rocks inside me. So
Yeah.
water, you know.
I have gallstones, so I feel like you too. We have to drink lots of water.
Yeah, I've had since I'm like 17 years old. You know, it's crazy.
God.
You know?
Did you stop like eating certain foods?
I tried. Yeah, I avoid salt and all that stuff. But
cheese, can you eat cheese?
Yeah, I do, but I shouldn't, you know. But anyway, I'm good now. I'm good now.
So going back, what's the great memory you have about playing with Ivan Lins? At least one scene, one experience. You were playing somewhere and you felt good. What happened?
Playing with Ivan Lins?
Yeah.
Well, Ivan was always generous. He has always been a generous person towards
and
musicians. Yeah, big time. So when I joined his band, and then we became good friends, and also through his music, I learned a lot. And we would sit down and talk about harmony, talk about why that note is better as a melody choice than the other one when this kind of cadencia happens and that kind of stuff. Then I think I've had many great moments with Ivan by just jamming you know. But he also, in this generosity, he gave me opportunity to write arrangements, you know, in his records.
Nice.
And then I like to solo, you know, express myself sometimes, you know, soloing in the guitar. So he gave me space for that. And there were many beautiful moments that.
Tell me one song that you did the arrangement for, his song, in a recording that you are very proud of it, that you really liked it.
One of his first records for America, I did an arrangement of Começar de Novo. Very different approach. And then another, I'm talking to you and I'm reading what people are writing.
I know, man.
And I get distracted because I love everything that they are writing. So
I have to concentrate too because I get distracted.
Yeah, it's great. They're just saying great things. They're all great people, my great friends. But Ivan gave me opportunity to play a solo in a good, beautiful song of his called Sede dos Marujos. And I remember every night, you know, I had like his support. It's like, go, you know what I mean? And then boom, you know, the solo started. And sometimes I would look at him and he says, yeah. And I would take another chorus, you know. So I think those are like musical moments, right? Yeah. But Ivan, you know, also has like an amazing family, you know, that was very loving to my family, you know, his kids, you know, his wife Valeria. So it's just like, how can you make music and not think that those people are in the music that you make, you know?
Yeah.
You know.
Did you always feel comfortable on the stage, or you prefer to be on the studio by yourself?
No, I feel more than comfortable on the stage.
Always.
That's the crazy thing about my life these days, you see? Because I'm writing music in front of a computer for 6 months, and then I put in front of an orchestra for 6 days, you know? And then here comes the movie, and you hear that music. Yeah. But, you know, come on, you know, playing with Ivan, and then another idol. I played a long time with Milton Nascimento too, and with the Novos Baianos too, with Baby and Pepeu, who were amazing to me, you know, and there's brothers, and you know, so
going back.
Well, what I want to say is that I never get lost. So let me show it to you. 4 years old, or a little more than that, and I see my uncles with so much joy. Years go by, you know, by playing live and everything. And then years go by, and I meet Ivan, and then Milton, and then a lot of other people, and then Simply Red, and play for big audiences, you know, 80,000 people, Wembley Stadium, or, you know, 2 nights, and then 12 nights of Wembley Arena, which is another 12,000 people. And I've always been lucky that people say, like, you know, Milton did that, Ivan did that, and Mick Hucknall did that. Hey man, why don't you open the gig today? I said, really? But on the other hand, I said, great. And I swear to God, I would go on the stage by myself, you know, look at people, you know, and see my own as, you know, as one of them too, you know, and that was amazing. That was amazing, and that's why I don't have any like stage fear or anything.
Please, because your expectation, it's really always joyful. Well, it's positive.
Katia, let me see. Elena, you need to talk to me. I don't know. Maybe I think you have to. Yeah. Sorry, guys. 1 second. I'm at home, right? So.
Familia, yeah, it's family.
No, go for it. I'm gonna stay here a little longer. Yeah, you have to go by yourself. Yeah. Ciao, Elena.
Ciao, Elena.
Love of my life. That's another lucky thing, right? I found somebody a long time ago.
Okay, since we had this little moment.
Really? Okay, go for it.
Since
I'm
we have
back.
this little moment, I just want to remind you, Instagram automatically after an hour, it cuts.
That's it then.
No, if it does, if it does, I am going live again. So we do the same thing, invite you, and we continue.